Well, good afternoon. Welcome. This is KTN Business. Today, my name is Peter Akaba, and we're coming to you live from our Mombasa Road studios here at the Standard Group Center. From us, it is welcome to this last show of the week. Today is a 30-minute edition as usual, and we'll be bringing you up to speed on the stories that have been making business headlines here in Kenya and right across the world. On the second part of the show, it is Trading Bell, which will be coming to you from the Nairobi Securities Exchange. You do not want to miss that, so do make a date. Today is also the day when we expect that Kenya's first satellite will be going up into space. That, of course, is an event that has started just a few minutes ago in Kibo in Japan. We will be working to bring you live pictures of that in this bulletin, if we can. Also, of course, the fact that we have a studio guest here, Mr. Ken Geshinga, Chief Economist at Mentoria Consulting, an expert, a face that you're familiar with, and he's here to speak into the matters that have happened this week, the big stories. And of course, use that to extrapolate into what exactly we can expect for next week. Now, as ever, we will start off with a quick look at the exchange rates, the currency pairs, before going to the markets. And we start off with a quick look at what the dollar, the sterling pound, and the euro are saying. Well, these, of course, are the numbers given to us by the Central Bank of Kenya and will differ slightly depending on which commercial entity you do walk into. Well, let's get into that. And the dollar pegged at 149, 159 buying and selling levels respectively. The pound pegged at 136.48, 136.78 buying and selling levels respectively, while the euro is buying for 119.26, 119.53 buying and selling levels there. Well, now to the market itself. This, of course, is the performance of the NSE, the Securities Exchange. Turnover in the last trading session, 752 million shillings worth of shares bought and traded. Shares traded 23.5 million. The NSE 20-share index pegged at 3,635.76 points. Bonds traded turnover 3.1 billion shillings worth. Well, what have been the stocks that have been driving this trend? The most active stocks of that trading session: Safaricom, Equity Bank, Kenol Kobel, and NIC Bank. Safaricom, there, of course, being a big mover after announcing its results. 14.07 million shares bought and sold. Now, Equity Bank moving 2.25 million shares. Of course, a few others in that same sort of trend. Let's move on to the winning stocks of the day. These are the bulls of the trading session: Scan Group, Earth River Mining, Cement, Kakuzi, and Igats. Well, Scan Group trending up at 7.14% to 18 shillings 75 cents. Earth River Mining up 7.575% to 6 shillings 95 cents. Well, Kakuzi trending upward 7.25% to 370 shillings flat. But let's look at the losers of the day. Britam, TPS, Serena National Bank, and CIC Insurance. Britam trending downwards, 7.59% down on trade in that session, down to 14 shillings 60 cents. TPS Serena down 5.22% to 31 shillings 75 cents. National Bank shedding 4.5% to 7 shillings and 30 cents. While CIC Insurance is, well, bearish to the tune of some 3.77% to 5 shillings and 10 cents. Well, that is a look at the polls. So what exactly are the stories that have been making headlines in that weekend, of course, driving those trends that we are seeing there? Well, to the stories of the day now, and this is, of course, a story from the tourism sector. Now, private sector efforts to diversify Kenya's tourist offerings continues in an effort to create resilience for the industry in the face of consistent hiccups from both politics and other unforeseen events. Now, parts of these efforts have seen the creation of products which build on the traditional bush and beach tourism offering. Now, the latest in this trend is the official launch of the Hemingway's Watamu Residences and Hotel after a year-long revamp exercise that sees the company offer a more inclusive Watamu experience besides creating a more family-friendly and longer-stay destinations coupled with what they say is a cutting-edge holiday experience.
we saw a problem in Watamu which was a global problem, and that is plastic pollution. That is plastic in our oceans. Any beach in the world today, you will go and find plastic on the beach. What we did, we joined forces with Hemingway's, the hotels, we started cleaning our beaches, we set up community beach cleaning teams, and we turned that then into a business enterprise and started recycling that plastic waste.
For us as a tourism board, the success of our marketing activities are highly reliant on the development of quality products and services by the product owners. So a development like this definitely creates a fresh and good new look for that region, and it helps it to maintain its relevance in the area.
Kenya tourism sector is emerging from the effects of negative publicity sparked by the security concern at the coast and some part of the country. I appeal to all Kenyans media and all Kenyans to adopt a patriotic home-first approach to present Kenya to the world.
Well, staying with that Watamu experience now, the controversy surrounding the control of the Watamu Boat Operators Fund, deducted by the Association of Boat Owners, which is in dispute with another group over the management of concession funds deducted from marine excursion fees, wants the Kenya Wildlife Service to intervene and resolve the dispute to enable more than 5 million shillings that is being held by authorities released. Now, the Watamu Excursion Marine Association, WEMA, which has the dispute with the Watamu Association of Boat Owners, WABO, both leading with boat excursions, say they want the funds released on condition that they benefit the community.
Tukubaliane kwamba mfuko urudi, lakini uwe na transparency mfuko huo. Na mfuko huo ambao umetumika karibu miaka 4 ambao iliyopita ni mfuko ambao ni wa community wa kufaidisha watu wa Watamu. Lakini mfuko huu alikuwa kwa kufaidishi watu wa Watamu, alikuwa ni mfuko wa kufaidisha watu wenyewe binafsi.
Tushirikiane ili swala lifaidishe community nzima, ili kila mmoja awe anafaidika na mfuko huu. Pia kuwe na uwazi. Na sisi kuteta na wao ni kwa sababu mfuko umefungwa, kwa sababu wao wenzetu hawako na uwazi. Hawana uwazi wana chochote kwa sababu wanakusanya pesa zile na kufaidisha matumbo yao na binafsi zao na kwa watakao wao. Lakini kwa upande wa community na sisi boat operators upande wengine kama sisi wa Wema wanatubagua. Na sio halali ambapo sisi tunachangia mfuko mkubwa zaidi hata kuliko wao.
Tunalalamika Watamu, tunalalamika na kwa Watamu nzima tunalalamika. Tumejenga misikiti, tumeweka majenereta ndani ya misikiti, na tunajaribu kusomesha watoto wetu kama kutoa kama basari, na tuna ambalesi tukua kwa sababu ya community akiwa mgonjwa ama mtoto yote atakayeumia apeleke hospitali, lakini hayo yote hayafikiri.
Well, indeed, the fallout there from tourism fees. Now, the Kenya Revenue Authority, KRA, says that it will collect an additional 200 billion shillings in the coming 5 years from spirits following the introduction of the excisable goods management system. The funds which would have been lost will be collected through the excise stamp duty, which targets spirits, wines and tobacco products. According to the authority, the introduction of the system in 2013 had seen excise duty collected from spirits triple, with projections that this would rise in the coming year. This emerged when KRA officials led delegates from various countries.
The paper tax stamps that are not so highly digitized. We don't have any of the factories that produce beer or spirits that have directly linked to the Revenue Authority for monitoring the production levels. Yeah, so this is actually going to add a lot of value to us.
Some of our Kenyans killed and others blinded by taking alcohol that has been produced in systems that are not very safe. So we believe that the systems that KRA are now putting in place is going to minimize and eliminate this problem completely. But more importantly for the government, that as these systems are being rolled out across the country to every manufacturer of alcoholic beverages, the government can optimize it and maximize its revenue.
When you produce any excisable products, and if the same products are counterfeited, which means they bear very critical resemblance with the legitimate products. What then would happen is that it is very difficult for anybody in the market to identify. And enforcement also becomes a challenge because the enforcement agencies are not enabled to identify and interdict those products from the market.
Well, that story, of course, was about a visit to the Keroche breweries by KRA officials, not just from Kenya, but across the region. And Keroche brewery CEO Sam Sholei there highlighting the benefits of introducing the excise duty management system. Now, moving on, Miraa farmers in Embu County have something to smile about after 5 members from the Embu County were included in the Subsector Reforms Implementation Committee, which is meant to implement recommendations on how to share the 2.2 billion shilling Miraa grant. The farmers had initially threatened to move to court following the composition of the committee without representation from their county, despite the fact that the area grows Miraa with over 71,000 members. Now, Embu County Agriculture Executive Anyaga said the inclusion of members from the county will give them an opportunity to raise their concerns and see to it that the recommendations implemented were favorable to everybody.
We actually appreciative to have been given a slot of 5 people. Initially, we were not included, but through dialogues, we managed to get a slot of 5 people. And we're actually very keen now to promote this particular crop and see how our farmers can benefit, because at the end of the day, it is the farmers that we want to ensure that they get meaningful livelihood. And of course, with the consultation between the county government and our farmers, we shall be able to see which enterprises which activities within the Miraa value chain that they are most keen on, and the ones that they are most interested in participating in, and what the farmers say is what the county will support.
The challenges that we have in Miraa farming, one is land. Land issue is an issue because many of our farmers, up to now, some of them are actually doing it not in their land. Let me say not their land because wengine wanafanya kwa mashamba ya baba zao. That's an issue. 2, we have also the challenge of market. Marketing of Miraa is a big problem because sometimes you can sell Miraa at a cost of even 100 shillings. And sometimes it goes to 3,000. So we also need something to be done about the market. Number 3, we also have a problem in the pesticides. Hatuna ile chemical tunaweza kuspray Miraa.
Well, that's really right, of course, continuing to push the boundaries of the discussion, whether indeed there is Miraa in Embu County or not. Now, following the incidences of expensive electricity tariffs across the country and the fact that electricity connections remain out of reach for a majority of Kenyans, some counties have decided to take matters into their own hands. Now, in the county of Nyandarua, Gatimo Ward MCA John Kieru Wamboi has moved a motion in the county assembly seeking the establishment of a county government energy entity. The House then resolved that the agency will be put in place to deal with matters of energy reticulation as a function, which will be a suitable strategy to confront the challenge of high electricity tariffs and low electricity levels in that county.
Let the county government of Nyandarua follow the law, institute an agency or an organ that will deal with matters energy, and they come up with probable ways, Mr. Speaker, of addressing the matter. I know the Committee for Transport, Energy and Roads, Mr. Speaker, are equal to the task. And that is why we are moving this motion, so that they can sit together with the minister concerned. It does not matter which office they will need to knock, whether it is the office of the president or the deputy president, but they will knock the relevant office to make sure that Wajiko of Nyandarua will not complain about power in the next 5 years, Mr. Speaker.
Now back to Embu, where the Embu County government has ordered for a fresh profiling of bars in an aim to reduce and maybe close down the ones located near institutions and churches. Now, speaking in Manyata town during a bursary checks issuance, Embu County Deputy Governor David Kariuki said that they have ordered County Office of Public Health to do a fresh profiling of the bars after realizing that students were turning into alcoholics rather than concentrating on their studies. Take a look.
Nimepeana honyo na nimehakikishia chiefs, na mimi nimeomba serikali kuu, kwa sababu serikali ni moja jameni. Hata rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya alisema hakuna tofauti ya serikali kuu na serikali ya kaunti. Tuungane pamoja tuangamize pombe. Na mimi nitakuwa mstari wa kwanza. Na nimesema leo, nimeambia chief na ule mwenye nasimamia afya, akuje waangalie zile pombe mbaya haraka, washikwe na wafunge hizo vilabu, kwa sababu sisi hatutaki wanafunzi na watoto wetu kuangamizwa na pombe.
Kuna sheria yenye inatuguide, Alcoholic Drinks Act, that is a national act. Sababu Embu bado hatuna act ama sheria yenye imepitishwa ya pombe, iko kwa process, iko kwa county assembly. Ningependa kusema kwamba tunaangalia distance kutoka mahali baa iko na shule, makanisa, mahali watu wanaishi, na kwa jumla tunaangalia usafi wa nyumba na wenye wanauza wawe medically examined.
We are convinced it's just a matter of time we shall be able to root out the establishments that are dealing with illicit liquor, ile inasumbua vijana kule mashinani, na tuko na imani it's just a matter of time we shall be on top of the game. We are consulting all the relevant offices, the county commissioner's office and others, and we are convinced it's just a matter of time there will be order in the liquor department.
Now, the government of Kenya, through the Ministry of Water and Sanitation, has received financing from the World Bank towards the implementation of the Kenya Water Security and Climate Resilience Project. Now, there are several areas earmarked under the financing, with the Athi Basin as one of the deliverables, including 5 others, that is Lake Victoria, South and North Rift Valley, Wasonyiro North, Tana Basins, which also have basin plans. Now, the basin plans revolve around stakeholder engagement in a bid to devise specific strategies that favor a given basin.
Catchment degradation, this is a serious issue here. From where we are sitting, we have Moore Hills. A few years ago, Moore Hills was covered by forests and was a major source of water for our dams, particularly Maruba Dam and other lower dams that are along that line. Today, there are no trees. However, our government is working together with other stakeholders to ensure that we do afforestation of such mountains, because we know you can have dams, but if you do not have places to have the water catchment, then those dams remain dry.
Water is a shared resource, and it's a national resource. It belongs to all of us, and we have to share and benefit. When we have water from Nile to Resh, it's a natural and national resource. So we encourage leadership to allow the national government to apportion. That's why today we are sitting here to plan on how to apportion. We are rationing water in Nairobi, and that means we are giving some sections, some part of some delivery of water, and then we close them, we give to the rest. So we are sharing this resource.
We have launched today the basin plan. Then we also develop after the other 5 basins in the country. So development plan means we will know exactly the amount of water that we are going to have in our basins in the country. So at least now we can easily allocate water to the sectors. For example, like forestry, irrigation, industries. So at least the water allocation will be easier for us. So at least every Kenyan can benefit.
Well, of that quick look at this